Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders released a statement on Friday urging legislators to approve the new 3,000-bed prison in Franklin County. But today, a Charleston-based organization called Gravel and Grit explains to 5 News reporter Parker Abels why they believe this prison is a bad idea.
Fundamentally, in the beginning, we were against it because we didn't want it here.
On Friday, Governor Sanders said in her statement to legislators that, quote, Arkansas has a chance to address this crisis head on and help end our state's prison bed shortage, but we need to act now. However, members of Gravel and Grit disagree with the fundamentals of the project.
We knew that it would not be a good place on Mill Creek Mountain. And then when we started digging into things, we're like, well, they haven't done any preparation. They haven't done any investigating. They didn't do any surveys or any of the things that they needed to do before they purchased the land.
Gravel and Grit is a rural transparency organization trying to stand up for small towns across Arkansas.
We want to bring to life the voices of rural communities like ours that have sort of been ignored by their government.
Board member of Gravel and Grit, Adam Watson, says even if the prison is needed, Charleston isn't the place for it.
There's a right way and a wrong way to go about that project, and every step of the way, the people in charge have chosen the wrong way. There's a ton of reasons, from not letting the experts that we hired do the site selection, to seeking funding without a design for the project, to not doing due diligence or a feasibility study on the site.
Group members don't believe the governor said anything new in her Friday statement.
Same canned statements that she's been using for the last 2 years, and they weren't true 2 years ago, they're not true today, and we just choose to focus on the facts.
And Natalie Cadena says as a rural community, they feel their voices aren't being heard.
Rural voices were ignored. Our own elected officials were not even included in this. And if they go forward with building a structure on that mountain, it will cost at least 3-4 times what it would cost in other locations in the River Valley.
In Charleston, covering news where you live, Parker Abels, 5 News.
We did reach out to multiple representatives about the topic, but did not receive a response yet. Well, today, 2 names have been added to the Arkansas Fallen Firefighters Memorial at the state capitol. The memorial honors those who died in the line of duty. The 2 names added were Philip Christian of the Fort Smith Fire Department and Jim McCammon from the Harrison Fire Department. They make up the now 131 names on the wall, the first of which dates back to 1889. They say the hope is that the memorial can serve as a place of remembrance and reflection to not only those who were lost in the line of duty, but to all that have served. The death toll from Friday's earthquake in Myanmar has surpassed 1,600. Rescue workers are racing against time in search of survivors. The quake was so powerful it toppled buildings 600 miles away in Thailand. China has sent in humanitarian aid along with search and rescue teams, and Russia has also deployed crews. President Trump said the U.S. will assist, although there are concerns the U.S. aid and State Department programs have been gutted or shut down. Dozens are feared to be buried under the rubble, and it may be days before rescue teams can reach them. Well, after another busy week for the Trump administration, the president is spending the weekend at his Mar-a-Lago estate in Palm Beach, Florida. Protesters in the U.S. and Europe gathered today at Tesla dealerships to speak out against the federal job cuts by Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency. CBS News correspondent Christian Benavides reports.
Billionaire Elon Musk's efforts to shrink the federal government drew protesters to Tesla dealerships in places like London, California, and New York.
We need to stand up to essentially American oligarchy, and we need to stand up to corporate greed.
Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, has gained access to sensitive data and shuttered entire agencies to cut government spending. In another White House initiative, Vice President J.D. Vance returned from Friday's trip to Greenland. There, he tried to advance President Trump's position that the U.S. needs to take control of the Arctic territory, which belongs to Denmark.
This territory, Greenland, really matters for the security of the United States. It's extremely vulnerable right now. And if the people of Greenland were willing to partner with the United States, and I think that they ultimately will partner with the United States, we could make them much more secure.
Denmark's foreign minister posted a video on X saying his country respects that the U.S. needs a greater military presence in Greenland.
We, Denmark and Greenland, are very much open to discussing this with you.
As for a full takeover by the U.S., leaders of Denmark and Greenland have said the world's largest island is not for sale. Cristian Benavides, CBS News, Miami.
The top vaccine official with the FDA, Dr. Peter Marks, wrote in a letter Friday that he would resign and retire from his position next week. According to the Associated Press, Marks criticized Health and Human Service Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. for allowing, quote, misinformation and lies to guide his thinking behind the safety of vaccinations. Meanwhile, the Trump administration is insisting that the president is not making changes to Social Security. However, he is making changes to the Social Security job cuts. Currently, 7,000 of the 57,000 positions are being cut, raising concerns among the 73 million recipients. Since the Trump administration announced job cuts at Social Security, delays have only gotten worse. Former Social Security worker John Hale says these growing delays are concerning, especially as the program faces potential changes in Washington. A local Fayetteville brewery is raising a glass to 7 successful years in the business, while also announcing plans for a significant expansion. 5 News reporter Jose Carranza tells us more about their future growth.
From crisis to celebration, Crisis Brewing Company is tapping into its 7th birthday and raising the bar with exciting expansion plans. What began as a midlife crisis has fermented into one of Fayetteville's most beloved neighborhood watering holes, where drink more beer isn't just a sign, it's a lifestyle. With creative brews like Identity IPA and Existential DIPA on the menu, Crisis has been hopping with success, but co-owner Liz Slape says they're ready to pour into something bigger.
We've been growing sustainably year over year, but we've kind of maxed out. We really need more parking. We need more space that isn't dependent on the weather.
Now Crisis is unveiling ambitious plans for their new space, featuring an expansive outdoor deck nestled among the trees, keeping that natural atmosphere customers love.
And the building is actually behind where I'm sitting now. So the patio at some point will have to come down to make way for some construction, and we'll move it over to the south, but it's right behind me.
Crisis has developed a loyal following as a neighborhood gathering spot, something the owners take pride in.
Both my husband and I have Irish passports. The neighborhood pub is a thing. It's a part of culture, and the fact that we've been able to do that here is really special.
The frothy expansion will feature a modern 2-story building with covered and open-air seating areas, while preserving the lush green space that makes Crisis feel like an escape in the middle of town.
We see that people are very eager to have a place where they can come and gather, and that sense of belonging means everything.
Crisis is also tapping into new trends with non-alcoholic options and grab-and-go cans. While construction timelines are still being finalized, there's one thing customers don't have to worry about. Crisis Brewing will remain open throughout the entire expansion process. In Fayetteville, covering news where you live, Jose Carranza, 5 News.
Well, a longtime Fayetteville tradition is getting a makeover this weekend. The city's popular First Thursday events are now moving to Sundays, hoping to bring in more families and boost local businesses. It's now called Sundays on the Square and will feature live music, food trucks, and art installations. There's also a history-themed bike tour led by Bikes Fayetteville and city officials. Kelly Rich, executive director of the Downtown Fayetteville Coalition, says the move is designed to make the event more accessible for families.
We've heard for a while that people had good intentions to come out, but it's just hard during the work week after work and on a school night. And so we're hoping to be able to reduce that barrier and to be able to offer something that's a little bit more of a lazy Sunday vibe.
The first Sundays on the Square kicks off tomorrow with performances by Smokey and the Mirror and Sons of Otis Malone. And the 2025 season of the Fayetteville Farmers Market is approaching. Today they held a spring fling event to get an early sneak peek of what to expect this year. It took place on the downtown Fayetteville Square, where local farmers and makers were on hand. People got to explore the different local produce, plants, and artisan crafts.
We have so much fun stuff planned this year. We've got some new events that we'll be working into the season as we go. We have some really neat new vendors, and we've got the same fresh produce, local vegetables, fruit that you're used to seeing here, and some new faces and amazing crafts, baked goods. We're just so excited to be back, and we've got some amazing stuff this year.
The official opening day for the Fayetteville Farmers Market will be a week from today on April 5th.